Civil War is a new film directed and written by Alex Garland, who is well known for his script writing on 28 Days, Sunshine, Never Let Me Go, a whole range of films that have been well received for both their intelligent addressing of the subject and, to a certain degree, the action involved. Dread is one of the most recent comic book adaptations, which is worth following up. And Annihilation Men and this film, Civil War, have been written and directed by Garland. So his background is producing intelligent, interesting films. If you've read a review of Civil War, its glowing press is well deserved. So you can go and see this film with confidence, not least of which because he is carried by Kirsten Dunst. And I think we're getting to the point now where Kirsten Dunst can be seen as one of the most understated and effective actors in American cinema at present. Her performance doesn't quite carry the movie. It is not purely about her, but it is understated, it is nuanced, it is subtle, and it shows the anguish that our character goes through the entire film. But that works better because with the ensemble cast, with Wagner Mora, Kaylee Spaney, and Stephen McKinley Henderson as the four principals that we follow a journey with going from New York to Washington, D.C. While the character development is not as deep or as nuanced as you might like, their reaction to the challenging circumstances that their journey takes really gives you a feeling of presence in the event. And the event here is a civil war in America. A number of reviewers have said this does not make any sense. Why is there a civil war? Why is there a federation between California and Texas? And to be honest, questioning why the war is taking place in America is to a degree missing the point. The two principal characters, Lee Smith, played by Kirsten Dunst, and Jesse, played by Callie Spaney, are both photojournalists. This is best seen as a passing of the torch movie between Kirsten Dunst's character, who has been a professional war and conflict photographer for some considerable time, and Kaylee Spaney as an enthusiastic, up and coming novice, and her development as a photojournalist during the trauma of the film. There is a scene where Jessie, played by Kaylee Spaney, is developing her film. She's very much old school, even though the character is only supposed to be 23, and manages to keep the fixing agent in a pouch in her body to make sure that it is at body temperature when she actually goes to develop the film. Kirsten Dunst's character, Lee Smith, is using the modern technology, Leica lenses, Sony bodies, very much a digital photographer who has moved with the times. But there is a point when they're reviewing some of Jesse's films where Lee Smith says, you know, 1 in 30 is a keeper. And it is very much the hardened reality of photojournalism. There is not the super shot. I tend to say that if you get 3 shots out of 80, you are doing well. So it is that knowledge of what the profession is actually about that is well conveyed here. And you will see it throughout the movies where still shots relating to the point of view of the two female journalists are flashed on screen. And over the course of the film, the torch is passed. So it moves from Kirsten Dunst's digital and colour to Carly Spaly's grainy and black and white. So there is a little bit here about a learning process in the harshest of environments. What the film is really showing a Western audience, an American audience, is what happened in the former Yugoslavian Republic, what happened in Syria, what happened in the what happened in the Arab Spring, what has happened in every civil war in sub-Saharan Africa over the years. That something very close to home can lead to the killing of your nearest and dearest. Throughout the movie, there is no explanation as to what the principal dispute has been or why Washington, D.C. is being assaulted. What is coming through is about the disruption and the devastation and the needless loss of lives. Very rarely is there any indication on which side either of the soldiers, any of the soldiers which are seen in this film, are actually on. And it is only towards the end where we actually get a clear division between the two sides. There's no moralization between the good and the bad. So when I say this film is about photojournalism, it is about representing what happens without necessarily taking sides. You are not rooting for the Western forces or for the forces of the President of the United States. You want the photojournalists to get their shots. The journey is the story. The ending is unexpected and is excellent. The entire film makes you feel uncomfortable about how quickly modern society could descend into this situation, as we are seeing in Gaza, as we are seeing in Ukraine now. So a lot of the reviews have focused on the war element. And it is beautifully directed and shot, even though what you are seeing on the screen is horrific. It has been well thought out, well choreographed. It looks as if you are, in many cases, in a war scene or a very normal town at one point where nothing outside seems to have impacted, including the ongoing conflicts. So there are that I would liken to the cut French colonial scene in Apocalypse Now. What is happening around us does not affect us. So if you are looking for the arc of the story, Kirsten Dunst is effectively mentoring Carly Spaeny to be what she has been and understands the appeal of capturing the moment, however horrific it is, to represent what the truth is. And there is a little bit that the older photojournalist Lee Smith is using digital, and that Carly Spaeny as Jessie is using a Nikon FE2 film camera, that there is an actual recorded artifact. There is the film. Nothing has been changed. It has been digitized thereafter. That is the implication of what's flashed up on the screen, but that's what really happened. No one really knows what the truth is. We're not told why we are getting to this particular position in American history. And you will bear in mind that the Civil War as a title is incredibly emotive and still divides some of the states. There's still discussion of the war of northern aggression if you go to some of the southern states. So to actually set this in America killing itself, so to speak, um, really frames the discussion as to we have been watching on the news this happening everywhere else. So the final battle scenes going into the streets of Washington, D.C., I would liken to the way that you see the Somalian battle and the Battle of Mogadishu in Black Hawk Down played out, except it's in an American city, the very capital. So if you want a point of view from the audience, as well as following the two photojournalists, how do you feel about watching a film that could be down your streets anytime soon?